Welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast, and in this video I'm going to give you my review for What If Season 2, all episodes now streaming on Disney+. I have been reviewing What If Season 2 episode by episode on the channel, so you can check that out. Links down below. We also started this channel by reviewing episode by episode of What If Season 1, so you can also check that out if you have the courage. I mean, we've grown as a channel over time. We've learned a lot, and as you can see from these characters, they started to get an inclination that there's a lot more than meets the eye. I mean, Supreme Strange or Strange Supreme, what a stupid name, but hey, that guy, I could have seen that a mile away that he ended up being the main villain. There wasn't really a main villain in this season. It's a weird season because I felt like there was a lot more build up for the main battle in season 1, and here it just a lot of one-offs, like the What If Nebula joined the Nova Corps. That was a cool episode, but who knows when we're going to see anything from that story ever again. I mean, I thought they'd be using the Peter Quill story somehow in the season finale. They didn't really do that. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, but we did see certain aesthetics or character designs make an appearance in the last episode. We saw Happy Hogan, the monstrous Happy Hogan. It was super scary. My goodness, how traumatizing. I made some comments on Kahori. I think she's a great character. I really was proud of Disney including this character and making a brand new character for the MCU in this way, and I can't wait to see what they do with her character later on. I thought that the story of Hela found the 10 rings, that was really cool. It was a great ending, you know. The Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper was great as well. I mean, you could do something with that in the future. I'm sure we could probably see Steve Rogers make an appearance sort of like Winter Soldier. Hopefully he could get out of the suit and survive. You know, I there were some episodes that I didn't really enjoy, like the What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602. I just felt bored watching that episode, and all in all, I just don't think it was super memorable. I think that episode and probably the Happy Hogan Saved Christmas was two of the weakest episodes in this season. All in all, I think this season though was still good. I think the problem that What If has, it's the pacing. It's an animated show that's trying to cover a lot of ground and cover a lot of complex lore and do it in a way where, you know, everyone could understand. If you catch on to this, like if you catch on maybe in season 4 or something like that, rather than watching the other seasons, which I don't recommend. Everyone should watch season 1. So it's they have trouble in that front just because there's so many examples here. Like, what if Strange Supreme intervened? That whole episode went by so fast. And you see, so the problem is when you have things that are super convenient and you don't have time to really explain the things, it just ends up being like you have to suspend your disbelief, and some things don't really stick with you. I felt like, though, the concepts for season 1 stuck with me more just because Marvel Zombies, this and that was really cool. So with this season, there wasn't a lot of things that stuck with me. I mean, probably one of the most important episodes, honestly, was the Kahori, just because they could probably use that character in comic books and whatever later on. But any of these episodes weren't really that special. I mean, if you think about it, probably just the Captain Carter, or anything involving Captain Carter is probably the most special. And the way it ended too, I mentioned this in my episode 9 review, the way it ended was just really... there was no stakes. I get it. I know that the guy's trying to bring back his world and whatever, and then, you know, he could possibly destroy everything. Yeah, it sounds big when I say that, but the way it was presented didn't feel really big. It just felt like this battle that just ended really fast by Peggy asking Doctor Strange, "Hey man, you want the Fade?" And he said, "Yeah, give it to me." And she just starts slapping the shit out of him. And mind you, without any magical powers or anything like that at times, and I thought it was just really comical. I was like, well, what's going on? You're fighting this demon guy and all, you could take him on like that? It's like really weird. And Coyote was just smoking a cigarette on the side while watching Peggy handle business. And then at the most convenient time, then she helps. And so I mentioned episode 9 again because it's more prominent because, again, this is season finale. But I mean, this happened countless of times again and again and again in each episode. I think really the more mature one was Nebula joined the Nova Corps. At least that seemed like a lot of things were earned. It didn't really feel contrived. I think it was like really well paced. The Peter Quill one was just a blast to see retro Avengers. Happy Hogan Save Christmas is a fever dream. I don't really remember that. And also it's going to give me nightmares just because of Happy Hogan's new physique. My goodness, man. Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster. It's cool to see Tony Stark again. Anytime I can see Tony Stark is cool. The way he constructed his armor seemed dumb though, because it's like, okay, you're there for not too long and then you fully decal your armor up and you give it that color coding and whatnot. It's just like, okay, whatever. I think the concept is cool. They'll turn it into a car. It matches Iron Man 2. So that was cool. But the episode didn't really stand out. And I don't know what's the deal with the Grandmaster. I think they think that people love to see the I love Jeff Goldblum, but I'm not a huge fan of the Grandmaster to see him again and again and again. It's like he doesn't really contribute anything other than a punchline. And again, well, like Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper. That was just cool to see an update because I believe that was the first episode in season 1. So it's cool to see an update of what's going on with Steve Rogers. And I like the twist, and I like it's an amalgamation of Black Widow, Winter Soldier, and the first episode of What If. So to see that was cool. It ended really fast. At least it ended with a cliffhanger. Like, we don't really know if Steve Rogers is alive, and they could definitely introduce that a little bit later on. So I think that was good for them. As I said, Coyote, I think that story was really beautiful. I don't even want to touch that story. I think that's beautiful. I hope they don't take an L later on and try to do some stupid shit in the future. Hela found the 10 rings. I think that was a cool dynamic between these characters that I never expected to see. And I really became a fan of Hela. I know, again, as I said before in my other review, I know she's primarily a villain, but I really want to see an anti-hero arc with her in the future, hopefully, because I really like just how that ended. It was really badass. It was really cool. And it didn't end in a way where it was just like cynical or anything like that. And in a way where it was really inspiring. And I thought that was super beautiful, the way how that ended. And what if the Avengers assembled in 1602? The reason why I'm bored with that episode is just because I'm not a big fan of medieval things. But at the same time, too, a lot of the dialogue just felt like thrown in there for. It's kind of like an episode where you look at your phone, you don't really care what's going on besides the end where Strange Supreme shows up. So that was probably the most important part. They dropped something about Steve Rogers from Infinity War. When he had that battle with Thanos, he ended up teleporting, but that they didn't really explain. There was a lot of stuff they didn't explain. I was like, how am I supposed to fill in the gaps here? I don't really get it. But then they just moved past it. And again, you guys heard my review for episode 9. You know, that episode was okay. Again, it was just really fast. I said in my last review that I think the appropriate word for it is just cool. I wouldn't label any of these episodes as just dumb. I think a lot of these episodes you could label as fun and cool, but that's it. And there's a lot of things that can be fun and cool. And the fact that we could use that word so many times just goes to show that, you know, perhaps now they're going to have an issue to find their place in popular pop culture to be memorable. It's memorable because of season 1, and it's also memorable because what happened in Loki season 1 as well. But besides that, what else can they rely on? A lot of the scenarios they brought up are a lot of what if ideas that I haven't really thought of, but I think a lot of us can actually come up with our own what if scenarios, and I think that makes the most sense. to put the most popular fan theory what if scenarios rather than making a lot of random stuff. Like, again, some of them I enjoy, like the Hela found the 10 rings. I don't know who the hell in like this country or this world ever thought about that, but that was really cool. I never thought about that, and look, they did it, and that would be really cool, and I liked how it was, really. But, you know, they do random stuff like Nebula joined the Nova Corps. I don't know who really cares to think about that. Like, okay, all right. But I want to see some other stuff, you know? Like, I want to see... Give me something like, what if Anthony Stark took the super soldier serum or something like that instead of Steve Rogers, and so now he has like this Iron Man suit mixed with super soldiers. I don't know, some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? So... Or they could do an episode with Bucky being the White Wolf or something like that too. I don't know. We don't really see much of Falcon either. Isn't that strange? I hope in the future they can introduce new characters as well. I think this is the perfect show to do it. If they can do it, I think it's a plus in my book. You know, if they reserve one slot for an episode to introduce like another character from a different country or whatever, I think that's really neat. And you know, Moon Knight became popular in comic books again because of the show. So perhaps Kahori can become popular in the comics, and they'll make comics about her. And hopefully it's going to be really cool. So I don't know. What if it's a perfect property to introduce ideas? But I think they fumbled the bag when they introduced these ideas too quickly and you don't get to live in the moments. Most of the episodes are 30 minutes, so... I understand. I do understand. And at the end of the day, you have to entertain your audience. So that makes sense. But yeah, that's really what I want to say about What If Season 2. Maybe you guys will agree with me in the comments below. We'll see. Yeah, if I had to rate What If Season 2, it's hard to say because I did have some favorites here, but I think a reasonable score for What If Season 2 would be a 7 out of 10. I think a 7 out of 10 is fair. I think the first season was better. I forgot what we rated it last time. If I were to rate the first season now, I'd probably give the first season a 9 out of 10. The second season, though, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 just because there were a lot of misses rather than hits, and the pacing was just too fast, and you didn't get time to really live in these cool ideas. So I don't think they're going to change the format. I think they're going to keep it the same, and it is what it is. We just have to take it for that. Now, that is the end of the review. So if you made it to this point, I just wanted to say some words. I know if you're new to the channel, this could be really weird, but I'm kind of saying this for me and my co-host. He's not with us at the moment. So yeah, we started What If long time ago, I believe in 2021 or something like that. If you look back in the channel at our oldest videos, we did an episode by episode review for What If, and you know, starting out as content creators, it was really interesting. You really have to vocabularize your review in a way where it's digestible for people, and you know, and at the same time too, you want to be entertaining. You kind of want to make people comfortable with you, and I couldn't have done it without my co-host Dylan, because at the end of the day, we're really close friends, and this is what we've done since our high school days. So to do these reviews since season 1 to season 4 is a blast. It felt supernatural. To start this channel with What If Season 1 and to end this year with What If Season 2, it means a lot to me. Sometimes this is an escape for me to just talk about these shows or review these shows, and hopefully you guys get in the conversation. Since we started, you know, we're still new. I mean, I'm talking like as if I have 100,000 subscribers, but at the time of this recording, I have only, I don't know, 464, and I'm super proud of that number. And you know, you guys wanted to watch our videos, and I hope you guys enjoy our videos, and I am so proud that people sometimes when they're commenting, they just, they're not talking shit or something like that. That's what I expected. Rather, they're saying their own critique or their own theories on the show that we're talking about or the movie. And it's really cool. And sometimes they compliment us in certain things. And I'm not really used to this. You see, I'm not really used to this at all. So I just want to say I appreciate all of you. And I genuinely mean that. A lot of people, and this is kind of like a therapy session. It's really weird to include this in What If, but this is actually a special episode. You'll see why in our next episodes that we're about to do to end the year off. But yeah, I genuinely mean that. I know a lot of people say that and it comes off as fake or whatever. And I just want to let you know that whatever I'm saying is not fake. It really means a lot that you guys, whether it's 5 views, whether it's 11 views, whether it's this view counts of this video, or whether it's 31,000, the fact that you guys stayed and gave me a chance to listen to what I had to say and help me to accomplish my goals, I really consider it to be some sort of charity. I consider it to be a great help. And I do rely on you guys. I mean, as content creators, we rely on you guys. So even by watching this video and not putting like or subscribing, it's fine because you guys at least heard something. And we live in strange times, right? So I appreciate you. I really do. I really do. And I cannot wait for you to see what I have in store in the future. I can't wait. I think hopefully my goal is for you guys to be proud of me. I want to grow together, and I want to grow a community in the future. And I really mean that. I come from a good place saying that, and I just appreciate you guys. Seriously, I appreciate you guys so much. You have no clue. So that's the end of my rant. I apologize for taking up any more of your time. Again, this is a very special video for me and, of course, my co-host. On behalf of my co-host, the first time I'm ever going to say this, but on behalf of him, since unfortunately he couldn't make it here with us, thanks for having lunch with us. See you guys.
Well, that about wraps up our discussion of episode 9 and the series. And then concludes our first season of our podcast.
Hey! It's been a long journey.
Right.
Excuse my French, a fucked up journey. but it's basically like What If, right? So what if...
Ponder the question, what if we got a season 2?
Yeah, I know. I'm excited for what's to come. I think you guys will be too. Or at least the 5 subscribers that are currently following us. Hi, Mom.
See you, chum.
The series, you should have said series finale of the Lunch Table Podcast.